Hi there, how are you? I'm Melissa White. Happy to be back with you this Tuesday morning for me. I'm going to be on Facebook. I'll be in the Spirit Room podcast group as well, and also on TikTok. So, hi everyone on TikTok. How are you? I've got you on a separate device. So, I'm hoping I can keep up with both both the computer and the phone. But it's good to be here, and it's wonderful to connect in this way. And I think I do like the idea of regularly being available and accessible to have these conversations. So, definitely this live for today, you can feel free to ask some questions if there's things that you would like to know about as far as working with spirit, spirit communication, psychic phenomena, that kind of thing, the afterlife. And then towards the end, I'll likely be able to pull some oracle cards for people if you've got more of like a specific question about you yourself. And what I do want to eventually develop is the ability to do some live mediumship readings. The reason I don't often do it in this kind of setting is because in the past, it was always like waiting for someone to comment back. And I found that it was hard to keep the flow going when it's just like a typed response back and forth. But now I do understand that I can invite people to come onto the live. I mean, I know I'm behind the times when it comes to this kind of thing, but I do understand that that's possible. So if that's possible and I can have someone come on the live with me and we can be chatting in real time, then I would love to be able to provide that and be able to do some live mediumship readings as well for you guys. So that is something that I'm looking into doing, and having that available. Hi, so everyone there on TikTok, and I see Drea. Hi, Drea. Good to see you again. Tiffany, thank you so much. Danielle, hello, hello. Wonderful. So let me know in the comments where you are watching this in the world. And yeah, I thought maybe, we could get going with just a little bit of a chat about honoring spirit. Kate says from Winnipeg, awesome. Honoring spirit, especially right now for the holidays. I know that that's something that is tough. And Danielle, you're in Surrey. Good. So local to me. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Langley. Jesse's in Mission. Yeah, so lots of people close by. Abbotsford. Wonderful. Shuswap. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you move, Drea? Or were you always there? Hi, Kim. Yes. So, hi, Shelly. How are you? Good to see you. So, one thing that I know, of course, we miss our loved ones in spirit all the time, but especially when it starts to come into the Christmas season, the holiday season, it's, I think, amplified sometimes, that loss and how noticeable, much more noticeable it is, that they're physically not here with us. So, oh, you moved in April. Beautiful. Do you miss it? Yeah. Shoe shop is so amazing, though. That's such a beautiful, peaceful place. Um, so I wanted to just share with you some ideas around ways that you might honor your loved ones at Christmas, but I think, anytime really. So I think it's important to talk about them. I think it's important to share your memories and tell the stories about them. And sometimes people find that hard. They don't want to because they don't want to cry, or they don't want other people to cry. They don't want other people to feel sad or to, bring on all of this emotion. But what I would say is that when you do talk about them and you share about them, it is helpful in so many ways for you to feel close to them. And I'll guarantee anytime that you speak of them, think of them, they are notified. They know, they're aware of this, and they come closer to you. It's an instantaneous kind of thing. And from what Spirit shares with me, they're so delighted Can you imagine, how that feels to know that you're still spoken of, the memories are brought up, oftentimes there's laughter, and maybe there is tears, but I think if you're able to chat about your loved ones and you start that conversation, it gives other people permission. Not that they need it, but it gives other people that feeling like, oh, they can do it too. And so reminiscing and all of that, I think, is just so simple, but it is really, really helpful. I've seen people who will do like a stocking. They'll hang a stocking for their loved one and, put like their loved one's name on it. And then they'll write them a letter and place that in the stocking. Or you could also ask other family members to all write your memories, your favorite memories with that loved one. And you all put it, handwritten notes in the stocking. And then maybe Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, you open it up and you can share them. You could read those. And I think that's such a beautiful, beautiful idea. So that's another idea. Oh, you're local. When doing another group in town. I am this Sunday, in Maple Ridge. I'm doing a charity event. It's called Kian's Holiday Wish. It's a toy drive, and all the proceeds are going to Connect Place Children's Hospice and BC Children's Hospital for toys for the children that are in hospice care and in the hospital with critical illness over Christmas. And so I believe there's still 2 tickets left for that this Sunday. It's at Jim's Pizza. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Krista. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's a good cause, and it's going to be a beautiful event. So if you're interested, send me a DM and I can send you the link, or you can go to my website, melissawhitemedium.com, and you can sign up there to come. Otherwise, I will have more group demonstrations and group events in the new year for sure. I've got one on New Year's Day as well in Crescent Beach, if anyone's interested. And that is the In the Spirit of New Beginnings. And so it's a afternoon workshop on New Year's Day to help you to start the year off with setting some intentions for yourself and kind of allowing a release of the old energy from this year and opening to the new one. And I'll be doing readings for people there as well. So if you're interested, definitely reach out or check out the website. Hi, Kayla, and hi, Debbie. How are you? Hi, George. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, so would love to see you guys. So the other thing I was thinking about with Christmas and honoring them, oftentimes Spirit will bring up how they see when we make their recipes and we make their food that they used to make or the food that they love. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you can do together. You can do that with other family members. And, it's if it was a tradition, if they always made the shortbread cookies, then, using their recipe and making them together, I feel like that's a beautiful honor for them. It's a way to sort of celebrate them. So all of those things I think can be really helpful. Let me know in the comments any ideas that you have or things that you've done that have been to honor your loved ones at Christmas time. So I feel it's awesome to share and it might be helpful to other people. Lighting a candle. I think it's such a simple thing to just light a candle in honor of your loved one. But what I thought was cool too is just a candle that is only for your specific loved one. And so every time you go to light it, it's in honor of them, it's in memory of them. You can sit and say a prayer. You could sit and chat with them. You could just sit in silence and invite them to come sit with you and be with you, be beside you, and just experience that closeness with them. So it could be something so simple. Learning to crochet. Oh, awesome. So Jessie, is that something that a loved one of yours did in life? Hi, Leah. How are you? Good to see you. So joining from Langley. Okay, great. Hi, Michelle. Wonderful. Good. So yeah, definitely. I'm always curious to see what other things you guys do or have ideas for when it comes to honoring spirit. Your grandma tried teaching you. Yeah, that's beautiful. I definitely feel like she's going to help you to have the patience to learn to do that. Um, the other thing that kind of reminds me also that you could, some people finish their loved ones' unfinished projects. So, for instance, if someone that, had started, say, a quilt or something, and then they passed before they could finish it, sometimes the loved one here in the physical world will go and actually complete that project in their memory, in their honor. We share stories about those who are in spirit. Yes, I think that's powerful, and it's a beautiful way to keep them with you. And like I said, they're aware of that. They love it. They love that. Hi, Christine. How are you? Hi, Heather. Beautiful. Good. Yeah. All of these things. You could even make Christmas tree ornaments to go on your tree, um, to kind of represent your loved ones in spirit. So if one of your loved ones was a huge, I don't know, a huge hockey fan, they love the Canucks, you could then have either purchase like a jersey or something like that, Canuck ornament, or you could create one. You can make one with the colors and put their name on it and hang that on the tree in their memory. Um, if the hummingbird is a sign that you associate with one of your loved ones in spirit, you could have a hummingbird ornament on the tree and just know that that's in honor of them. So all these ways that we can, especially with those who did not have the chance to meet them. That's so true. That's so important. I think that's a beautiful thing to do is like share the history of that person and talk about them and share. My kids didn't get to know my paternal grandparents, so they're great grandparents on my dad's side, and so yeah, I do talk to them about them and share about them for that reason. I want them to know them. How long after a person passes do you recommend waiting to see you? Well, I always say that it is kind of individual. It's very personal because everyone's grief is so different. It's not to do with the spirit person. The spirit person can usually communicate right away. It's not like they need time. Um, but I think it's us. So the living, oftentimes we need time to process the grief a little bit, and to kind of be in the right headspace to get the most out of it. So for that reason, just to be on the safe side, I do recommend people if it's a major profound loss, like it's a different thing if you've had, I don't know. I mean, you can't compare. One is not worse than the other. But I do know that there are some losses that are more traumatizing than others. So if it's something that is traumatic or it's been quite profound, I would give yourself a couple months. I would, just because at first too you're in shock and all of that. So the reason being, sometimes the the desire, of course, and I get this, I completely understand this, and I'm sure I would feel the same way, is that you want to just connect with them right away. Like that's all you want to do. But my fear with that is that if you're not in um, the right sort of mind frame and you haven't experienced and processed any of the grief yet, if you were to come to a reading and have this expectation that the person that you just lost is going to come through and they're going to tell you everything that you need to know and it's going to be perfect and they're going to tell you their name and all this stuff, if for whatever reason that does not occur, that person does not come through, or they come through but it's kind of like fuzzy, which can happen when someone is trying to connect and it's too soon for them, the human person, um, it would leave you worse off than you were before. And I feel like it would be devastating if that was your expectation and then it didn't happen. So for that reason, I just think even though it's not everyone that is the same. Like, everyone is different in how they process their grief. To be on the safe side, I would say wait a few months at least if it's been something that's been quite traumatizing for you, because it's a different thing. It reminds me of, I had a client who joined a membership kind of group thing that I was doing a couple of years ago, and she had lost a very close family member to her, and it was very traumatic, and it was very sudden and unexpected, and it had just happened. And she came to one of the group sessions, which in those groups, there's, I don't know, 25, 30 people. It's never guaranteed. It's not like the expectation is that everybody who attends is going to get a connection with spirit. It's just not the way those types of groups work. So she knew that, but I think because she was so traumatized and she felt so desperate to connect with him, it almost created this big amount of pressure and almost like a wall. And I didn't connect with the person that she was hoping would come through. He didn't step forward to communicate at that time. Um, and I didn't know that this had gone on. I didn't know that that was her expectation or anything like that. And she messaged me after, maybe the next day or something, and told me how devastated she was that he didn't come through, and that she couldn't believe that. And she was extremely heartbroken, and she felt worse off. And I just felt so horrible about that. First of all, that she didn't get that connection that she was hoping for. But also, it's interesting because then maybe a year later, maybe a little bit more than that, I don't know. I saw her in person at a group reading, like, not too long ago. And the first person that came through in the group was the person she had wanted to connect with that time in the big group. And he came through very strong, very detailed, um, gave a whole bunch of information and messages, and it was beautiful. It was amazing, and it was exactly what she needed. But it was the timing. It was the right timing for that. So the reason being is that I want people to know that, like, just because someone doesn't step forward to communicate when you want them to, doesn't mean that they never will. They kind of work on the timing that's going to be right, and so we have to always be aware of that. So there's no way for me to force it, or um, yeah, I can't force that. But yeah, so that's the reason. I'm just, when I say to wait a little bit, it's because I'm just looking out for you, and I just want you to get the best experience that you possibly can. Now, having said that, there's always exceptions. I had one lady, I went to a group reading years ago, and this grandma came through, and everyone was astonished because she had just passed that morning, and she was coming through that evening in the group reading. And even as we were talking, she said something about using the flickering of the lights as a sign, which is a common one, like spirit likes to do that. And we're sitting there in the living room. There was a lamp on a side table, and the lamp, as she said that, like 2 seconds later, the lamp turned on, and we were like, "What?" And then it turned off. So she was already coming through, and she was already sending signs in real time. So there's a woman who was elderly. They knew it was coming. Not that they weren't grieving or sad, but they were at peace with her passing, knowing that, it was her time to go, and she had been through a lot and she was ready. And so they were, of course, grieving, but it's not the same as some other kind of losses that some of you may have experienced that are just it's a different thing. So yeah, so there's always exceptions, I guess. Bronwyn, yeah, that would be great. I do have I think the private readings are booked. I may be able to open a few spaces at the end of December, just because I did leave a little bit of room, like a little bit of buffer for myself. So I might be able to do that. So if you're not on the wait list, if you want to join that, you can go to the website, melissawhitemedium.com. Once you join that, or even if you sign up to the newsletter too, you'll get an email notifying when dates for private readings become available. You have a photo of mom under the tree. Oh, that's beautiful to put that under the tree. I love that. That's really cool. Okay. So Denise was asking, hi Vanessa, how are you? Good to see you. Denise was asking, are there any specific signs that I can look for to know if they are with me? I keep wanting a sign, but I'm not really sure if I can do anything or if I'm just missing something. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to come to you next, Deanna. So Denise, yeah, there are some signs from spirit that are common, like the flickering of the lights that I mentioned. Lots of spirits know how to do it, and they will do that. Um, I find hummingbirds, uh, butterflies, ladybugs, feathers, um, eagles are quite common. The repeating numbers and stuff like that. It's synchronicities, and it's also the feeling that you get when you notice that synchronicity or that sign. And so, yes, dimes are so common, coins. Um, and some people have said, oh, well, you told my friend that her dad was going to leave her dimes. And then you told me, pardon me, that my grandpa's going to leave me dimes. And I'm like, yeah, because that spirit uses some of the signs that are common because we recognize those signs. Like we'll notice that because we have an awareness already that that could be a sign. But they'll use strange things. They'll use other things too, things that are very unique and very specific. So it's possible sometimes that we could, oh yeah, music is a big one. Yes, and feathers. 30-second whiffs of smells. Yes. So cigarette smoke is a common one. The scent of their perfume, smelling their cologne, their aftershave, things like that. Scent of roses sometimes. So hearts, yes. Yeah, they'll use heart-shaped rocks sometimes, looking up in the clouds and noticing like heart shapes in the clouds, or just hearts in strange places you wouldn't expect, all of that stuff. Your lights completely have been blowing out outdoors too, full on disco around here. Yeah, I mean, it's unlimited what they can actually make happen, but I think sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's big and dramatic, but there's also times where it is more subtle. And I think when it's subtle, we do sometimes miss those or just write them off and think like, oh, it's just nothing. It's just a coincidence, right? So I think it's being aware, yes, that they can do it, and then also just giving yourself a bit of a, I guess, like having a bit of patience because it's not always instantaneous and it's not always in the way that we think they should bring the signs, right? So just having patience with that. It's good to make note of the times that you do receive signs, and then keep a little journal because then when you feel like you're not getting them or you feel like it's maybe you're missing them, you can go back to your little journal and see all of the times. Pardon me. You can see all of the times that they've been bringing you those signs. So it helps to remember. Pardon me. Hi, Joe. I'm good. How are you? One of my favorite examples of signs is when I was doing a group reading years ago, and we were in this lady's living room, and I think it was her dad that was coming through from spirit. He brought through all this information, and then he said something about the song "Stand by Me," and that it was significant. And the lady I was reading for was like, "No, I don't know anything about that song, and the connection to him doesn't make sense." And I was like, "Okay, well, I do feel like he's going to have you hear it. Like you're going to hear it over probably like the next little while. So just keep it in the back of your mind." And she was like, "Okay," but I could tell she thought it was just kind of like nonsense. That part. I think she was trusting in all of the information up to that point, but that thing was kind of like she wasn't sure. We go on with the reading. I read for another person, and then I'm reading for this other woman, and just very faintly, like there'd been a stereo on in the other room, like that was kind of like beside the living room that we were in all night. It was just low, like very, very quiet. And I had told the lady about the song like 5 minutes before. So I'm on to a different reading, and all of a sudden, somebody says, Hey, do you guys hear that? And I was listening and I heard it too. And I'm like, uh-huh. And it was the song Stand By Me playing on the stereo in the other room 5 minutes after I told her that he was going to bring it. And he did bring it. So that was so pivotal for me because then I thought, oh, sometimes when people are like, of course, like I am a medium, but I'm also extremely intuitive, psychic, empathic person. I can feel it's pretty obvious when someone thinks something that you said is like BS, like you can feel that. And I would sometimes feel like so disappointed, like, oh, I just wish that they could just trust. Like, I wish they could just trust this because he's saying he's going to do it. And I trust them. I know because I've had all of these experiences time and time again. So I understand it's different for everyone. But, anyways, when that happened, I was like, well, you can't really deny, you can't really make that up. And also, it's like that's not a song that's on the radio every day. Maybe if you're listening to the oldie station, maybe it is. But I mean, it's an older song. It's not like it's a popular song that comes on all the time. So, yeah, I think those things help to restore our faith, right? So, stuff like that. Hi, Amber. How are you? Erin said she remembers that I told her that her grandfather was going to leave her coins in the next few days, like toonies. I thought, no way. And then I found a toonie the next day in the washing machine. It was really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I trust them. When they say they're going to do something, I do trust them. Hi, Jacqueline. How's it going? Say hi to Shannon for me. Christine said, thanks for mentioning the cigarette smoke. It's a very good validation, an experience she had. Also, she's saying, I also think my mom and her best friend at the time, my dad's best friend, has never come back around since my dad passed 10 years ago. I would say I think that they probably have and they are around, but our perception, our ability to perceive them sometimes is different. So that can kind of change. I also think maybe it's possible that they're around, but they're bringing you different indications that they're with you. So oftentimes people sort of discount the feeling of their closeness, the proximity of someone being near. And because it's not something visible, it's not something that's tangible that they could see, they sometimes think it's nothing. But I would say that oftentimes spirit is very subtle and not to discount the feeling of them being close or the emotion sometimes that washes over you when you're thinking of them, and even just physical sensations that you get, fast beating heart, fluttering in your heart. You can get a bit lightheaded sometimes. You could feel all of a sudden really hot or cold. I get hot, but lots of people get chills and get cold. All of those things, tingles. Jacqueline said, Melissa, when you told my daughter Shannon about my stepdad and my uncle letting me know that they would be around if I seen a seagull with a French fry in its mouth, I found the card 2 days later with the seagull with the French fry in its mouth and I bought it. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's so amazing. And it's like they're so clever because they know that they have a potential to orchestrate that for you. So that's why they'll say it. And I'm so glad now. Like before, I used to think, oh, am I really going to say this? Like, I have no way to prove this. Like, especially with something that's going to happen in the future. Like, the only evidence or proof of that I'll have is when the person comes back, like Jacqueline just did, and tells me, right? But I trust spirit implicitly. So I know that if they're showing me something, telling me something, offering me something, there's a reason for it. And I always think, who am I to hold back? Who am I to not deliver this information? They're bringing it for a purpose. And so it's not my job to judge it or to, decide if it's worthy of being spoken. I say everything that I become aware of from them for that reason. You smoke coffee, Chantal, quite often, but you're unsure if it's imagined because you're so hopeful. I hear you. I do think sometimes we do think like, well, maybe I am just wishful thinking, right? But I think that it's to do with timing of when you're noticing these things, and also the feeling that you get when you do notice them. And if it's repeated, I think if it happens a few times, it's likely that's not a coincidence. So that's why I would say keep a note, keep some notes about that. Um, Deanna was saying, why would you have signs and symbols pop up, but you can't think of anyone who might be around you or trying to connect, trying to figure out who it is hanging around? Oh, well, there could be spirit guides that are trying to get your attention and, kind of trying to make your acquaintance, having you recognize that they're there and they're around you. Sometimes it could be loved ones that maybe you might not even had a super close relationship. Like maybe you have a grandma in spirit that you didn't get to know because whatever reason. In spirit, she's going to want to still connect and reach out to you, likely to let you know that she knows you and she knows about you and she's around you. So there's reasons for that. Pets and animals also can come through. Salem Ray said, I just want to say that you have such an incredible gift. How special it is that you can share your gift with others. I spoke to a medium the week my grandfather passed away, and it changed my outlook on mediums in the afterlife. Oh, that's wonderful, Salem. I'm glad to hear it. I think it's one of those things that it can be very life changing when you have someone connect with your loved one. They don't know this person, they know nothing about you, and then they start telling you things that are specific and shared memories that you have together. Their personality starts to come through. You can feel that that's a continued presence. That person may not physically be here, but they're certainly not gone. And I think it is. It's such a meaningful experience to have. And so, yeah, it's exciting. I think that's such an exciting experience when you get that confirmation and then you feel inspired, like you feel like, oh, okay, like I can go forward. I know that they're right here with me. So it's a beautiful thing. That's why we do it. Wonderful. Good. So thank you guys for the questions. That's amazing. I do have time to pull a few oracle cards. So you can feel free to comment a topic that you want me to look at, um, or just if you just want me to pull a card for you, I can just pull a card and it'll be whatever comes up, whatever you need to know. So feel free. Obviously, I can't get to everyone, but I will do a couple for sure. Hi, Joanne. Sure. Joanne, for you, the card is gratitude and all these feathers around. So to me, this is about recognizing that not only are you grateful for all of the blessings and the work that you're doing with Spirit, Spirit is also very grateful for you for having the courage to step into it and to dedicate yourself to it. So definitely like a full circle kind of feeling, just all of this gratitude for you, and also that they're very aware that you're grateful for everything in your life. Sure. So this is for Amber. Grounding. So you, Amber, you were saying you're feeling heavy and stressed. So grounding comes up. So this is like taking a step back, taking a few moments to yourself, taking some deep breaths, and kind of coming back into your physical body. I think sometimes I have a tendency to do this too. Sometimes when we get stressed, we can get carried away, and there's a sense of like not even really being in our body. Like we're going through the motions in life, but we're not necessarily totally present. And this is sort of your guides being like, no, 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 come back to your body. It's okay to be, you're safe here in your body, and we'll tackle this together. So just knowing that your guides and your loved ones in spirit are on your side and they're helping you. It's almost like going task by task, like a little task by little task, like chipping away. So not getting letting yourself get so overwhelmed by the enormity of the things that you have to do or whatever's going on. So really just breaking it down and taking like a reset to kind of recharge your batteries. So hope that's helpful. Okay, good, Joanne. I'm glad to hear it. Hi, Donalda. How are you? Good to see you. Let's see. Deanna, sovereignty is the card for you. And I think it has to do with you becoming really, really clear about what it is that you do and don't want in your life in all areas. So, with regards to relationships, with regards to your health, your well being, your mental health, your physical health, just what it is that you actually are wanting and what you're willing to accept and what you're not. And so you become very, very sovereign in your thinking, and everything becomes more clear when it comes down to making decisions. Does this person, does this experience bring me closer to whatever it is that you want? I feel like peace of mind is the ultimate for you at this point. Does it bring me closer to that peace of mind, or does it take me away? And that's how you can kind of make your decisions going forward. So I hope that helps you, Deanna. Oh, Shelly, yes. Let me see here what your sister needs. There's two. First card is leadership, and the next card is devotion. Sorry if it's hard to see because I think it's my background makes it so you can't really see the cards. So I think for your sister, Shelly, it's like recognizing that you might feel sometimes a bit helpless, like there's not a ton that you can do, that like you can't fix it for her and you can't really change her situation. But knowing that you are a leader and that you are helping and that you are inspiring to her, and there's a sense that the energy that you send, your intentions that you set, all of that like is extremely helpful. So it's unseen, it's not something that can be measured or quantified, but it is very helpful. And so I think recognizing that. The devotion, I feel like it's like devoting herself to recognizing that life is this precarious dance. It's like ebb and flow, back and forth. It is always cyclical. So we go through hell and then we come out of it. And then it's like up to us to enjoy and appreciate all of the good. And then sometimes it goes back and we're into, again, we're coming up against challenges. And then it always goes back. So there's always this movement. And so I think just recognizing her devotion and dedication to her well being, um, that's going to get her through. And so I think also a reminder for her that it's okay to feel whatever she's feeling, because I think it's not going to be positive 24/7. And I don't even think that's possible. And I don't even think that's healthy, to be honest. Like, let her feel whatever she wants to feel, whatever she does feel. And then, just refocus, so it's like not that you can't feel the negative emotions. It's just we're not going to maybe stay there. Right. So self-expression for her is going to be really important. And I do think she's going to go through a period of time where she's in the thick of things, and then there is this settling of the energy. So I do get that it's going to get a bit lighter for her. So I hope that's helpful for you, Shelly. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Nancy, I feel like I don't need to pull a card for your question, but I will. But just before I do, I would say it's like a time limit. So I say give yourself a bit of a limit of time of where like, okay, I'm going to stay the course for this amount of time. As you're staying the course, you're then going forward to the passion. And I don't think it's going to take you forever. I think that it's been in the works for a while anyway, and it's been on your mind for a long time. So as long as every day you're kind of doing something to move in that direction, I think you're going to feel a lot better. But that passion thing is there for you. And I do see you being able to embrace that. So the card that comes up is desire. So it's just affirming that it is a passion and that there is a strong desire within you. It's like a fire that's burning. So I don't think you're going to be able to avoid that. To be honest, like I think it's there for you for a reason, and that you do have what it takes to make that happen. I believe that wholeheartedly. So let me know if that helps. Drea, truth is the card that comes up. So you might be struggling, but I feel like you do know the direction. You are aware of a direction that's going to be what you want. It's just maybe a little bit of guilt for going in that direction. If you have to leave behind some things or leave behind even someone, um, it feels almost like, oh, you there's a hard time putting your own joy, your own happiness, your own peace as a priority. But I think that there is a lot to be said for making those things a priority, definitely. So just focusing on what it is actually, what is true for you, because maybe you haven't even spoken it yet to anyone. This one's for Donalda. Judgment is the card that comes up. And what I focus on at the top there is that butterfly. And I just feel as though you're going through a period of transformation and change. I mean, I think we always are, no matter what stage of life, we're always changing and transforming. But you, I think, have been on such a path of that transformation for so long. You've been aware. You're definitely a curious person. You're always wanting to know why and understand how things are. And I feel like you're always dedicated to moving forward, and you're always wanting to know yourself more. And so this card comes up to say there's, in the past, there may have been two sides or two parts of you. One side that was like all this expectation and like, all this expectation on yourself and all this judgment on yourself. And now I just feel like that's not really a thing. Like, I think that you can be aware that there might be a self judgment that comes in, but then you quickly change that. You quickly turn that around, and then you look at things from such a different perspective. I also think that you're very good. You have such a good shield now when it comes to allowing other people's judgments and other people's BS, their opinions of things that they know nothing about. You're able to allow that to bounce off of you so easily. So I don't think this card is something that you need to know or do differently. I think it's an affirmation of all the hard work that you've done in this life and on yourself, and that you're inspiring more people than you think with the way that you have found your own healing. So I hope you're still there, Donalda. Um, but I hope that's helpful as well. So yeah, no worries, Drea, no problem. Hi, Sarah. How's it going? Oh, yes, I totally understand about that. I feel you. I'm with you on that. Um, I may not be able to do it at this time, but I will. I'm going to be here every Tuesday at the same time. So maybe at the next time. Before I let you guys go, I did want to say that I've got a new membership that's starting. It's the idea of providing something that is a bit more low cost to people, but that will give you regular access to stuff like this. Although the cards that you get in the membership are once a month and they're just for you. You get a 3-card spread, and I'll send you a video with those cards and the reading from them, or a voice memo. But you'll get that every month included in the membership. There's a monthly live session um, where I'll be covering topics like um, past life readings that I'll be doing, but also teaching you about those, connecting with your spirit guides, your angels, connecting with your own loved ones in spirit, looking at all of that stuff. And then I'm also going to give you every month journal prompts that come directly from spirit for the group. So I think those will be helpful just for self-healing. And it's something that I can offer you that will sort of support the messages and the insight that comes. So if you are interested in that, please do let me know. You can send me an email or a message. It's $33 a month if you want to pay monthly. So I try to keep it like cost effective. And then you also have an option if you want to save a bit more, you go pay for the year. But it's something that you can cancel anytime. It's not a highly pressurized thing. But I just wanted to share it with you guys. You're the first ones to hear about it. Thanks, Amber. Oh, wonderful. Yes, I'll see you on Sunday at Kian's Wish, Stacy. Thank you so much for coming. It's going to be a great night. So, yeah, I hope you're not sure what's true for you. Okay. I would say, so the email, Melissa White Medium at gmail.com for Deanna. And then for Drea, that is a thing that is difficult, definitely. What I would say can help is even if you were to take 5 minutes, set your timer, 5 minutes daily, and just sit and be still. Maybe you listen to some music, maybe you don't, maybe it's just quiet, but you kind of invite your guides and your loved ones to sit there and be with you. And you could just put your hand on your heart. And what I would say is you can kind of bring some ideas or decisions or choices up in your mind and then practice feeling into them. And you can ask your guides, what does a yes feel like for me? And then have them give you that sensation. What does a no feel like to me? And then they can give you that sensation. So it's a practice thing. So I would say you could do that. You could also get a deck of oracle cards, and you can kind of practice with those. That is something that I'll have in the membership too. I can share with you about doing those cards for yourself. But if you want to send me a message, Drea, I can help you with that too. All of these things, starting to kind of come back to ourselves. And I think there's never any guarantee. Like there's lots of times that I'll feel into something and I'll be like, okay, this is true for me. But it's not like in that moment there's some guarantee saying that because that's true for me that everything's going to work out perfectly. Like there's still challenges no matter what. So I think it's just being at peace with knowing you can trust yourself and knowing that you can trust whatever happens, whatever choices you make, you will be guided. And you do have your guides there and they will support you. And I think that's empowering. That helps us to not go out into the world fearful, but it helps us to go out into the world saying, okay, I'm okay with whatever comes. Whatever happens, I know I'll be okay. So I hope that's helpful to you, Drea. Tamara, hi. Yeah, it's called the Enchanted Soul membership. I was supposed to, Teresa, my friend and my, she's a business coach and she does a lot of tech stuff for me. She does a lot for me. She said, okay, make sure you put the link in your live. Did I organize that? No, I did not. But what I'll do, I'll be sending it out in the email newsletter. I'll put it on my Facebook and it will go up in my link tree as well. So those of you on TikTok, it'll be in the link tree as well. So it'll be accessible to people. But like I said, it's $33 a month. You get the group session every month. We'll be doing past life readings. We'll be doing oracle card readings. I'll do some mediumship readings. It'll be a mixture of you receiving insight and information, and then also some education as well. And then you get the 3-card spread every month that's sent to you by video or by voice memo. And then you also get journal prompts to support you every month. So things for you to reflect on and think about. So implement the things that come up in your card readings. So I'm looking forward to being able to offer that to you guys. And it builds a community for sure. Wonderful. So thank you. Cool. Yeah, I hope that you check it out, Drea. Oh, good, Stacey. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting your friend. Definitely come say hi, either on the break or after, for sure. And then I saw someone else said something here. Oh, of course, I can't scroll up. Oh, thank you, Nancy. I'm grateful for you too. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. Keep shining your light as well. And yeah, I hope you have a magical December. I love December. I'm actually going through a super stressful time in my life, but the fact that it's December is helpful. Like I just am so happy to see the lights, the decorations. I love giving. I love the excitement of all of that. And I'm excited about Kian's Wish, that event on Sunday night, all of those things. So it's a bit of a chaotic time, but like just personally, but I feel like also there's so much good. So yeah, here's to focusing on the good. And thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here. Love you. And I'll be back next Tuesday. All right. Take good care. Bye. Now, TikTok. Do I know how to end this live? I don't know. Let's see if I can. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Oh, did I not end it? I didn't end it. Okay. I think I got it. Bye.